Congratulations to the top three qualifiers for the 2020 FIA Formula One Turkish Grand Prix. In third position, Sergio Perez. In second position, Max Verstappen. And taking the first pole position of his career, becoming the first Canadian to take pole since Jacques Villeneuve in 1997, our pole sitter, Lance Stroll. Lance, many congratulations. What a day. You've had a few minutes for it to sink in now. What's your overriding emotion?
Yeah, I'm still not really in the moment right now. I'm a bit lost for words. It was such a crazy session. It's been a crazy day, since this morning in these wet conditions. It was just so slippery, the whole way through qualifying. And it was really just about being on the right tire at the right time there at the end, and we got on the intermediate, there at the end in Q3, and I had one lap to deliver it, at the end of qualifying, and I felt like I had the confidence in the car, and the consistency in my driving to do it, and at the end of the session there, I really pieced my lap together quite nicely. Didn't really make any mistakes, and I'm sitting here on pole position, so it's a pretty special moment for me, especially after the last couple of months. It's been a rough ride for me. Since Mugello, really, I haven't scored a point since my podium in Monza. It's been a rough run, just with incidents and COVID, and so much has been going on. But to bounce back like this and put it on pole position today is very special for me.
And Lance, the call for Inters was crucial in Q3. Was it a clear-cut decision for you guys to put the Inters on? Because most people stayed on wets.
For me, it was. Yes, I expected it. I expected to be on wets until the end of qualifying, with the track conditions just being so poor and the surface being so slippery. But in Q3 on that wet tire, I was really feeling poor grip, and I just knew that there was the track was drying up and it was time to go on Inters. So we pitted for Inters with a few laps to go, and immediately when I got on the intermediate tire, it was a lot better. So that was definitely the right tire to be on. But in these conditions, it's so tricky. The surface is so slippery. It's so hard to tell whether it's best to stay on the full wet or go to the intermediate, especially with the track being so slippery. Everything's telling you, full wet, but it was definitely, I was much better off on the intermediate there at the end, and the result says it all.
And Lance, I know you're living in the moment right now, but throwing it forward to the race, do you think you've got the car to win the Turkish Grand Prix tomorrow?
That's a big ask. I mean, again, it depends what the conditions are going to do. I haven't really looked at the conditions yet for tomorrow, but I heard maybe there was a chance of rain at the start of the race. So we'll see what happens. That could mix things up. But I'll deal with that in a couple hours when I let this sink in. I'm going to enjoy the moment for sure. It's a very special moment for me, first pole position in Formula One. So I'm going to digest that for a couple hours and then focus on the race.
Well done, Lance. Many congratulations. Max, coming to you, quickest in every session this weekend except for Q3. How frustrated are you feeling?
Yes, I think the first time this year I sit here upset, so I think that says it all. Was all going quite well on the wet tires, but already in Q1 when I tried to go on the Inters, it was just not working at all, even compared to other people on Inters around me. So I was in Q3 not very sure to go on Inters because I felt really comfortable on the extreme tires. So once we boxed and we went out, I had no grip at all compared to the laps I was doing before. Just very disappointing to be second.
Had you stayed on the extreme wet tyre, do you think pole position was possible today?
Well, I think the track, was definitely leaning to intermediates, but for me, it just felt so poor that I think if I would have just stayed out on the wets, I could have done the same lap time. So, clearly something was not working for us today on that tyre.
And throwing it forward to tomorrow, hopefully a cracking good Turkish Grand Prix coming our way, but do you think you can win it?
I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow, to be honest. I think Lewis and Valtteri are a bit further down, but I'm also starting now on the inside, so that's not very lovely. But we'll find out tomorrow.
Thank you, Max. Sergio, coming to you. Your first top 3 start in Formula One, and you were fastest for a while in Q3. Are you a bit disappointed not to be on pole?
Yeah, really. I think towards the end, I think my final lap was going really well, very strong first sector, but I caught out with Giovinazzi, and that was it really. I tried to overtake him, but I just simply lost too much. I lost the rear end. The turn 6 spun out, and there was nothing more I could do. I think the call was good in the beginning to stay on the Inter. I think the Inter worked really well for us, but I think just the timing there at the end with the track getting a lot better on the final stages saved us from pole. But on the other hand, it's a great result for the team, and hopefully tomorrow we can make it into a lot of points for us.
Okay. Thank you, Sergio. We're going to go to the video conference now, and we'll start, please, with Scott Mitchell from the race.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, a question to Lance and to Max, please. Lance, can we just get your thoughts on sort of how the car developed when you switched to Inters in Q3? Was it sort of transformational as the temperature sort of came into the tyre? And Max, did it go the other way for you? What was it about the Inter that you were struggling with? Did it fundamentally change the way the car was behaving?
I just found a big step in overall grip. So immediately when I put the intermediate on, I just instantly felt a transformation in grip and went a lot quicker.
And Max, how was it for you when you put the Inter on? Yeah,
no grip, no front grip. So, especially where there was a little bit more standing water, I was struggling a lot. Through the fast corner, it was all right, but I just felt the shattering, so the front tires were not gripping up.
And you came out just behind an Alfa Romeo. How much did that affect the warm-up of the tyre? And
possibly a bit, but I don't want to blame it on that. For us, that tyre was just not working, so we just need to look into that.
Thank you. We'll go next, please, to Christian Manat, please.
Thanks, Tom. Question for Max. You sounded so upset on the team radio, but you are P2 and probably the biggest competitor, the Mercedes, are pretty far back behind. Would you be happier if you would be P1 and the Mercedes just behind you?
I'm just upset because the whole weekend actually we were first and it looked very comfortable, and then you lose out in Q3. So at the end of the day, I don't care what the Mercedes is. I just look at our performance, and that's just not good in Q3. So that's why I'm so upset. You can't look at other people's performance to judge your performance. You have to look at yourself. And clearly in Q3 it was not good.
Thank you. We'll go next to Alex Kalinauckas from Autosport, please.
Thanks, Tom. It's another question for Lance, please. Just regarding the call to come in and change to the Inters at the end in Q3. Was that something you called for, or were the team telling you what was going on with Sergio's lap times on the Inters? And then when you came out, you said you found a lot of grip immediately, but did you have to do any extra work to keep the temperature in the tyres, given what we've seen all weekend, even in the dry on the new surface? Thanks.
Well, both myself and the team agreed that it was best to come in on Inters, come in and fit Inters. They were updating me on Sergio's pace, and at the same time, I felt the wet tire was quite poor, compared to Q2, especially. There was a big loss in grip compared to Q2 already, so that kind of gave me an indication that it was time to go to Inters. I know once I got on the Inter, of course, in these conditions, it's important to generate temperature early, leaving the pit lane, and push, lean on the tire to to generate temperature, but that's what I did. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I had my first lap. I had a Mercedes in front of me that spun, so I still improved even with that, but that wasn't good enough for pole. And in the second lap, I had a pretty clear lap, and yeah, it was great.
Thank you. Next up, we'll go to Dieter Renkin, please, from Racing Lines.
Thank you, Tom. Question to all three, actually. What did you think about the race director's handling of the situation? Were the timings right, both in terms of red flagging, stopping, starting the sessions, etc.?
Checo, let's start with you, please.
I think they were okay. Just probably in Q1 it took a bit longer in terms of drying up more than needed the track. But other than that, I think it was pretty accurate.
Lance?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was okay. It was good.
I agree.
Okay, we'll move on. Christian Nimmervoll next, please.
Thank you, Tom. A question to Max. Max, I hear what you say about tyre choice in Q3, but even on the Inters, we could see that after 17 of the 20 mini sectors of your last lap, you were still pink. What went wrong in those last corners?
I was going faster, but I had no grip. So compared to the balance I had before, so like I said, probably it was the right tire to be on, but it was not good. Like that, we should have been doing better switching to that tire compared to what we were doing before. We were comfortably in first compared to everyone else on an extreme tire. So we definitely missed something there. Doesn't matter if you go purple or pink compared to yourself.
Thank you. Next up, Scott Mitchell, please, from the race.
Yes, a question for Lance, please. Lance, this isn't the first time we've seen you excel in wet conditions, but obviously this was such an unusual experience with how low grip the track was. Can you just sort of explain a little bit why you think you're able to get more out of the conditions like this, and sort of what was that step from Q1 to Q2 to Q3? Did you feel this kind of giant killing performance coming?
Yeah, I mean, I've had some good performances in F1, but I don't know, every day is different. Every track's different. All the conditions are constantly changing. Even though it's wet, surfaces are changing and things are always different. I think the key today was really, getting the tire to switch on all weekend. It's been about getting the tire to switch on this surface. It's so crucial. And today, I think we were able to do that reasonably well, for these conditions. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, through Q1, Q2, Q3, I felt like I was in a good position, but again, you don't really know where you're going to end up because it is so dependent on what tire you're on at the right time, and that impacts the result, massively. So I think it was just about being on the right tire at the right time at the end of Q3 and switching it on. That was the main thing was getting that tire to work, which I feel we did, and that's what gave me the confidence to really attack the lap and put it together.
Thank you. We've got time for one more, and we'll give it to Alex Kalinauckas, please, from Autosport.
Thanks again, Tom. So another question to all three drivers, please. What were conditions like throughout the day racing on the new and controversial track surface in the wet? How did it compare, for instance, driving your cars in the wet compared to what you found in Austria at the start of the season? Thanks.
Max, can we start with you this time?
Shit.
Much worse than Austria?
Yeah.
What about the wet in Portimao?
Did it rain?
It was damp at the start of the race.
Yeah, on slick tires. So.
Okay. Lance,
I'm not very talkative, so I'm going to skip.
We'll move on to Lance.
Yeah, it's quite a bit worse than Austria. I mean, this surface is just so much worse than anywhere else we've been to all year in terms of grip.
Checo.
I agree.
Okay, guys.